Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leangap's Demo Day 2022. My name is Dr. Cervantes, and I'm going to be your host throughout this lovely morning or evening, depending on where you are from, whatever you are visiting us from. I'm the Managing Director of Leangap, and if it's your first time here, I would like to welcome you to our small but powerful community. Leangap is a startup incubator for high school students from all over the world. Our program takes ambitious students all the way to launching a new startup and a new business in just 4 weeks. Leangap is one of the most impactful experiences that a teenager can have, because it goes through everything that adults like you and me could go through: frustration, happiness, joy, anger, not even towards your teammates, but also towards yourself, towards your customers, even towards the industry. Leangap is fun, but it's also real, and with reality comes a whole lot of things that are in the entrepreneurship bag, in the real life bag. One thing that Leangap creates is a protocol for the real world. We try to break the bubble that you are breaking the bubble. We are breaking the bubble that our flawed school system has put around our students. And it is our pleasure to be there for them, to be here for them. And there is nothing else that we would love to do right now. Like the mentors, the judges that you're about to meet, like we'll have our jobs, we'll have our companies to run, we all have our responsibilities with our employers as well. And that's because all the Leangap staff that you're about to meet, that you're about to see here, are real entrepreneurs, are real technologists. They have walked the path that our students embarked on. We are one of the few, if not only, program of entrepreneurship for high schoolers in the world that has that model. We don't have professors, we don't have college interns, we don't have camp counselors. Every single one of us has walked the path that they embarked on. And it is because of that the power that you're about to see of the companies that launched is so different than what you're used to from a high schooler. And it is something that we're very proud of. It is also something that has prevented us from growing more like other programs that give canned lectures. And, because I can't clone a mentor, I can't clone a judge, I can't clone, I would love to do that, but there's only one of me, there's only one of the judges, there's only one of our mentors. So that's why Leangap is so powerful, because it's such a tightly knit team that we really take great care of our students. And just to give you some context on what has happened in the last few years and what Leangap is in general. Every single year, we get 1,200 applications from more than 20 countries. This means that the 32 students that you're about to meet in this event come from a pool of the brightest and best students from all over the world. We take really great care in choosing our students to not just only find what you would typically filter for, which is entrepreneurial experience or pitching experience or business experience or coding experience. We take great care into selecting students that have initiative, that have drive, and that show grit. And I'm happy to say that every single year since we started in 2015 has been a success because of the students themselves. We started in 2015 with 40 students, and it's been such a great journey since then. We've met people from all corners of the world, from the deepest corners of China to the deepest corners of the US, not only from the big cities, but also from the small cities, from Latin America, from Europe, from Africa, from Russia, from everywhere in between and everywhere in the world. And it's been such a lovely thing to meet everyone, because we've been running like for 8 years now, and we have seen how they have grown from maybe quiet, shy students to now CEOs of billion-dollar companies. And some of them have even came back to speak with the current students to share their experience and what happened after Leangap. And it's been such a full circle experience for us, such a very lovely moment for us to see them return as successful CEOs, founders, engineers at big companies like Amazon, designers, marketers at Google, and YouTube celebrities even. And now it's the turn of the late cohort of 2022. The students that you're about to meet have done great things that I wouldn't even have imagined doing them when I was their age, not even when I was in my 20s. I'm now in my 30s, and now I'm starting to feel confident enough to do the things that they already did. Now, before we start hearing their pitches, I am going to introduce you to the judges, the people that are going to confront our students, and it's going to be their first taste of what real life is beyond the classroom. First, we have Danielle, and Danielle is a founder and general partner at 1517, which is an early stage venture capital fund, one of the few that focuses on dropouts, on people that want to go on a different path than traditional education sets for them. She's also part of the founding team at the Thiel Fellowship, the program started by Peter Thiel, one of the founders, creators of PayPal. And it is because of her experience with, she has over a decade of experience with young entrepreneurs and makers, that she has made such a big impact in the world. Just to give you an idea, she was a big influence on how Ethereum came to be, because she was a mentor for the founder of Ethereum, among many other young entrepreneurs. Thank you very much for being here, Danielle. Now we have AJ, and AJ is the co-founder at Simplified, just over 1 million users. Nothing not too humble. And he is also the former CEO and founder of Rumi, a company that achieved over 3 million users. So his user acquisition skills are off the charts. He is also one of Forbes 30 under 30, which is amazing in its own regard as well. Thank you very much, AJ, for being here. Now we have Robert. Robert is a senior strategist at Headway. Headway is a product studio that helps fast-growing companies grow faster. Think of Chase, Procter & Gamble, among many others, among their clientele. He's also the former innovation program manager at Oracle, one of the biggest companies in the world. And he is a LinkedIn voice of leadership as the Armchair VC, where he shares startup advice, startup stories, and similar. Thank you very much, Robert, for being here in such a short notice. Now we have Kaya. Kaya is the founder and CEO of SwayPay, which is an e-commerce company disrupting Gen Z marketing. And she recently raised over $4 million for her company. Now, she has an interesting background. She comes from the season 5 finale of Shark Tank, where she got a deal with Lori. And since then, she's been working hard on entrepreneurship and brands and marketing. And she's been featured by Forbes, Business Insider. She even was in the Steve Harvey show a few years back. So thank you very much, Kaya, for being here. All of our judges have their own jobs, their own things to run, their own funds to run. So it is very important and we take great respect into what you're doing, judges. If you can join me here to the main stage, please, I would really appreciate that. And the first team, start getting ready. And whenever the first team is ready, please join the main stage. Now, the logistic is going to go as follows. The first team will pitch. After their pitch, we're going to have 3 minutes of questioning. After those 3 minutes are done, then the next team will go. Now, after the last team finishes, the judges and myself will go back to the back. We'll go to the backstage to allow the judges to deliberate. Now, the judges will choose two titles. Best pitch, which doesn't take into account like the company on itself, but just like the storytelling and how the pitch was delivered. And 2, most outstanding company. Now, it is very important to remember that Leangap is not a competition. Just like Y Combinator companies, they're not competing between each other. You know, just like 500 startup companies are not competing between each other. And Leangap is not. It's not a competition. So we all have worked together to get to where we are today. So the title of most outstanding company is in comparison to what they accomplished in 4 weeks. One of our mentors did the great analogy that Leangap is only a competition with yourself. Like you're in a video game racing, you know, the ghost of you, you know, like from the previous time, and you're trying to beat yourself. That's what the judges mean when they name someone most outstanding. They're going to take into account the industry, the company within that industry, the thing that the team achieved in 4 weeks time, and that's it. They're not going to compare apples to oranges, because that wouldn't make sense or wouldn't be fair for a competition like this. So just to take that into account. And that's very much it from me. We are about to hear the first team. Again, judges, thank you very much for being here. I hope that you realize the impact that you're about to have on our students' lives. And let's take it from here. Mohammed, when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Mohammed.
And my name is Isaac.
We're from Bit Electric, an EV-centric auction marketplace for both buyers and sellers. I'd like you to meet Josh. Like many people, he's interested in buying an EV. But the issue is Josh wants to buy an EV now. And currently, the waitlist to buy a new EV can range from 1 to 3 years. So Josh goes into a local dealership in hopes of buying a used EV off the lot, same day. But he's shocked. The dealership is selling the car he's looking for, a $65,000 Tesla Model Y, for $80,000, far above market value. So he goes on other sites like Craigslist in hopes of finding a better deal, but prices are still high and the listings don't look trustworthy or professional.
Now, Josh isn't the only person with this problem, as close to 240 million Americans, or 71% of all Americans, are interested in buying an EV. And this number is only projected to grow in the coming years, as shown in the contrast between 2021 projected EV sales to 2028 projected EV sales.
But buyers of EVs, like Josh, are not the only ones affected by this market. Sellers of EVs also face issues, such as high listing fees, which can be hundreds of dollars on sites like Only Use Tesla, and make the experience of selling an EV costly. And then there's lowball offers and scams, which can make the process of selling an EV intimidating. And most problematic of them all, no views on listings, which ultimately prevent EVs from getting sold. And that's where Bit Electric comes in, an auction-style marketplace that makes buying and selling EVs easy and rewarding.
So just to look at the process of buying and selling on our website, if I were a buyer and I'd be interested in buying an EV, I'd simply have to click on the Buy an EV button. And there I'm directed towards the listing page. Now I want to buy the 2022 Tesla Model Y. It's been my dream car. So I click on it, and there I can finally place a bid for $65,000. And just like that, we're done. But what if I was a seller for EV and I wanted to list my EV on this site? So I simply have to click on the Sell an EV button, where I'm directed towards a 3-part form that asks for basic information like name, email address, model of the car, and finally some photos of the vehicle. So how our business model works is that we take a 3% commission on every EV sold. So that means for a 2021 Rivian R1T launch edition that commonly goes for $120,000 on the resale market, we'll be taking home $3,600, which is highly profitable. So now looking at market size, the total EV market is $891 billion worldwide, a figure derived from the 16 million EVs worldwide. But what we hope to obtain is a $203 million, or the 3,750 EVs circulating in the US resale market. But why would you choose BIT Electric over our other competitors? Well, we have 3 main competitive advantages over them. The first one being an industry low 3% buyer's fee. Second, we offer no listing or selling fees, which guarantees 100% of the selling price of the vehicle. And finally, we provide strong outreach for our sellers through targeted ads, which guarantee thousands of views on listings and furthering connecting buyers to sellers.
Within less than 1 week, we've successfully listed 5 EVs on our site. The total combined value of the cars we've listed is $450,000. And when these cars sell, we'll take home $14,000 in profit. Looking down the line, we plan to sell 3 EVs per week in the coming months. Then, in order to expand our outreach to both buyers and sellers, we plan to target influencer-based marketing. Finally, we plan to partner with dealerships to help them offload any unsold EVs onto our site.
Now, what we're asking for is $65,000. $3,000 will be allocated towards website maintenance. $5,000 will be allocated towards advertisements that are directed towards Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. $2,000 will be allocated towards the legal side of things, like drafting up a buyers and sellers agreement, and $50,000 will be allocated towards employee salaries. Now, this $65,000 is projected to last us 1 year.
I'd like you to meet our team. We're all passionate about electric vehicles, and with that passion comes knowledge and insight into the EV market. We understand what the problem is and we know how we can fix it.
So with the prevalence of sites that cheat buyers and sellers of their deserved prices, we aim to make the experience of owning and selling an EV to be incredible and memorable for our users through our easy-to-use and affordable platform. So judges, let's bring the power of EVs to everyone. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, BIT Electric. So now we're gonna start with judges' questions. Judges, whenever you're ready.
Hey team, really nice presenting today. I had a question about how you plan to build up this marketplace. Do you plan to work on the sellers or the buyers first, and how have you picked that?
So currently we started with the sellers because, if there's no sellers at all, then we won't have any buyers. So we started with the sellers, kind of cold messaging people that might be interested in selling. So now that we have sellers, we're, focusing on the buyer side. But yeah, long term, we're definitely focusing on the sellers first. And then, getting buyers through different outreaches such as Facebook and Instagram, or maybe Reddit and platforms like that. But yeah, since we don't have like a built up audience yet, we're focusing on those sorts of things.
Thanks.
A follow up to Danielle's question. How are you convincing those sellers? Like, how did you get those 5 in those 4 weeks, which was pretty impressive? What story are you telling them to get them on the platform?
Basically showing them the benefits to our platform as opposed to the current platforms that they may already be listing on or may consider listing on. Like one thing that was big was that sellers can list on our site for free. There's no opportunity cost for them to list on our site, and that we provide, attention on each listing through outreach. So I think that was a big one.
Of the ones that you did convince to get on there, do you think it was about selling it quickly or getting a good, fair price? What do you think?
I think it was mainly getting 100% of the desired selling price. I think it was mainly just getting, 100% of the price for their car.
Thanks.
How do you plan? Quite quick question would be same, right? I mean, you have Craigslist, you have Facebook. You're going to use Facebook to kind of drive traffic, but Facebook has a marketplace. I don't think they're charging anything actually to list anything, right? How would you make it stand out, right? Because even Craigslist, I don't think they charge a heavy fee to list as well, and huge traffic basically on those 2 sites.
Yeah, so we've seen that a lot of like EVs that are listed on Facebook Marketplace have just kind of been sitting around for a few weeks. And actually the majority of the cars we have listed on our site now come from Facebook Marketplace. So it seems like sellers are looking for a little bit more in the way of getting maybe some more attention on their listings, or just like reaching out to a market that kind of understands what they're selling. Yeah.
How do you envision facilitating the deals once they're sold? Do I have to live close to where the car is located?
No, so we're like any other auction or listing site. The transaction is done completely between buyer and seller. And we know that this is like common practice actually in the EV world. The reason we chose to do this for electric vehicles specifically is because EVs sell, like 1 in 14 EVs are sold privately, which is higher than any other sector, like even like exotic cars. So it's already common practice in the EV world to engage in private sales and deal with that whole thing. So we're like any other auction website in that regard. It's completely between the buyer and seller. We don't get into that.
Great. Does someone have any more questions?
This last question, if you're buying, when you're buying like, used cars, let's say Carvana or Swift or whatnot, one of these apps, right? I think the guarantee you kind of get is like they're checking the car, because between buyer and seller, right? Who's responsible? You can sell anything to anybody, and same thing happens at Facebook or Craigslist or any of the marketplace, right? So how do you make a difference in sort of that to make sure that buyer and seller both be confident actually selling this thing?
Yeah, so one thing that we require is like very in-depth photos. So we have a photography guide on our website that makes sure that sellers are taking photos of every crack and crevice of their car, basically, to show any flaws, any imperfections, and things of that nature. And we also encourage buyers to reach out to sellers before finalizing the deal to maybe get on like a video call or something just to check out the car and make sure that everything looks right. And we also encourage buyers to get a pre-delivery inspection on any car they're purchasing.
Got it.
Great. All right, if that's all the questions, thank you very much, Beat Electric. And
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you in a bit. So next team, please start getting ready.
Hi, my name is Messiah.
And I'm Jack. We're from Will Foods, an online community marketplace for surplus and unattractive produce. So meet Michael. He's a college student at Los Angeles, California, and he's currently paying off student loans, which make his budget extremely tight. Therefore, he's looking for cheaper groceries. This problem occurs to everyone in difficult times, when a small bit of change can make a big impact.
Here, meet Jason. He's a produce distributor in Los Angeles, California. He faces a few struggles too. One of them is that he faces a constant buildup of various produce that he sometimes has no choice but to throw away. Second, he faces tremendous amount of guilt when throwing away these produce. And on average, 5% of his business's costs are from him dumping all of these produce. And this is not just the story of Jason, as it happens all the time worldwide. $408 billion worth of fruits and vegetables are being wasted every single year, even though they're completely healthy and edible, which is extremely concerning, as 1 in 4 households experienced food insecurity in the United States back in 2020.
So this is where Will Foods come in. We're an online marketplace that bridges the excess supply from produce distributor to customers. So you may ask, why choose Will Foods? So first of all, we're able to turn waste into profit to help people like Jason. Second, we provide affordable pricings to help people like Michael, and for affordable pricings for all types of fruits. And then finally, we contribute to the reduction of food waste.
Here you can take a quick look at our demo. As a prospective buyer or vendor, you'll be able to go to the My Account page and register as a vendor, inputting all the necessary personal and store information. After your account is created, it'll be in a pending state until one of us admins verifies your account. After that, you'll be able to start listing products, and as a buyer, you'll be able to view all the products listed by going to the marketplace page, adding them to cart, proceeding them to checkout, and finally picking up the groceries at the respective stores. So out of all the competitors out there in the market, We believe at Will Foods, we rank the highest in terms of both affordability and time efficiency. Unlike Misfits Markets, Imperfect Foods, or Full Harvest, we do not have any delivery services, which decreases the cost down a lot. And also, there's no need for customers to worry about potential delays in the produce deliveries. And at last, we not only focus on unattractive produce, but have equal opportunities for boutique, ugly, and all other types of foods. Currently, we run on a commission-based model where we take 15% from each sale, which is 5% lower than our competitors. Right now, we're extremely happy to announce that we're working with Los Angeles produce distributors who are vendors on our marketplace and have listed multiple commodities on our site. We also have 15 plus customers signed up on our marketplace.
So to look at a bigger picture, it is estimated that 811 billion US dollar worth is for US grocery stores. And the serviceable market is approximately 96 billion of US dollars, which is the online grocery market. At Will Foods, we target 65 million US dollar worth of market value, which is approximately 0.07%. So now you may ask, what's next? So by September 2022, we plan to have more than 30 vendors on our website and have more than 100 sales. And by December 2022, we plan to expand to more than 3 cities in California and therefore reaching out to more than 100 vendors. By March 2023, we plan to launch a mobile app, improving accessibilities and hitting the 500 vendor goal. So meet our team. Our team consists of 4 individuals, each specialized in different skills and which will contribute to the whole team. But most importantly, what we commonly have the passion for reducing food waste. So here's what we ask. We ask in total of $53,000, which will distribute it into operations, legal, web development, and advertisement fee.
So in conclusion, we take all the unsold produce, sell it on our marketplace, which reaches the hands of the consumers for extremely affordable prices. In return, we're able to tackle the food waste issue. So judges, let's stop wasting food and take a bite out of it instead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Will Foods. Now open to judges' questions.
Go for it, Danielle.
Thanks, Robert. I would really love for you guys to walk through the customer experience a little bit more. So if you could talk about just everything from start to finish, that would be great.
Yes, so the customer will enter our website and they're able to view the marketplace directly, and they're able to select the produce they want to buy, for example, mangoes. Then they add it to cart or buy it directly. They will pay through PayPal, and then they will enter their billing address and the essential informations and then finish the purchase. And we offer a pickup system. So the customer will go to the store, contact with the store information and contact with the store and then pick up the grocery.
So they have to go to, like if I get mangoes and cucumbers and the same distributor doesn't do mangoes, do I have to go to 2 different places to get my produce?
Yes, so that would be the case. So when you actually browse through all the products, you'd be able to see like where the businesses are located. So you would ideally select like produce that is like most likely close to where you are based. So yeah, if you purchase different products from different businesses, you would have to go to multiple businesses to pick up those groceries.
Got it. One thing to think about here is that since gas prices are really high, consumers typically want to spend less time commuting if they can. So just something to factor more into the customer experience.
Nice job on the pitch. I really like this. I was actually just looking at a company called Flash Food that is trying to address this exact problem. So I really believe that this problem exists. My question is also kind of tied to the distributor versus the grocery store. You mentioned that you're going right to the distributors for their waste. Do you pick it up at the distributor, or is there a third party that you have to factor in part of your revenue and cost model for grocery stores? Do they get a piece of the pie related to the distributors?
So currently, initially we attempt to contact grocery stores, restaurants, and end distributors. And currently we got response from Los Angeles produce distributor, which we'll work directly with.
Yeah, so what would happen is the customers would actually directly go to the Los Angeles produce distributors warehouse where they would pick up their goods. So there's no any third-party involvement, as the customers would just directly go to that place. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Can I go? So I also agree with Robert that I'm also just generally fascinated by this problem. Like, I don't understand why it still exists, actually, kind of, because it just seems so obvious. But like, that obviously means that it's actually really, really hard to solve. And so I'm wondering how you actually came up with the picture, that this is the picture perfect solution of everything you could possibly do to solve this problem. Why is it this? Like, for example, instead of, live selling things with TikTok-y like content, like, why did you come to this? And one narrow question I have, I guess, pertaining to that is, like, I would imagine off the top of my head, you actually don't really want to list individual SKUs because it's kind of like really expensive and very ever like changing. So why are you doing that? Why is it this model, I guess, versus anything else that you explored to be the very best one?
Yeah, okay, I can take that. So basically we believe that like all the competitors out there like lacked one thing, which was, all our competitors we looked at either focused on just like ugly foods from grocery stores and stuff like that. But we wanted to merge all the like unused like produce from like restaurants, grocery stores, the stuff they don't sell, or even just produce distributors, which we couldn't really find any other competitors. So we mainly like aim to actually centralize all those different types of businesses in one website. And I forgot what you asked, like the other question.
I think less about that and more about why is this user experience, I guess, like from both parties, the one, like, is it this, or is it like TikTok streaming stuff with someone going in the grocery saying, hey, guess what, up for grabs, like, I could, why this? Because like, I'm like surprised because I mean, there's a lot of evolution in commerce. You guys are Gen Zs and teenagers. Like, why is there like no video content, like that kind of stuff?
I guess, yeah, sorry, you can go.
Okay, so first of all, like we wanted to have a centralized marketplace where there is a gather of information, but furthermore, using videos or TikTok is a part of our future advertisement plan. And then we'll probably like it's more simplified to start off with a marketplace where there is centralized information for every single produce distributor who has potentially unsold goods.
Okay, I think this is fine. Like, I think I guess like the best feedback I can give is like really beat your solution with a stick, like kill it over and over and over again, and like really step into, okay, so this is the best way to solve this problem, because I feel like this is a problem historically that has been attempted to solve so many times in so many different ways, and like if you haven't beat every single possibility to death to like fight for the fact that this is like the way to solve it, you're not going to win. Like, that's a really good, I think, exercise to always go through. I've tried to beat my company to death so many times that it's like almost impossible to kill at this point.
Okay, thank you.
That was a great question, actually. I saw that your cost was like $9,000 on website development, right? I mean, kind of maintenance and whatnot, marketplace building. Why do you want to build a marketplace when there's so many no-code solutions? Because there's nothing complicated, it looks like, right? As you explained, the solution is someone goes in, creates an account, find the produce, and then you just like pay and go and pick it up. Like, why are you reinventing the wheel and just building it from scratch? I mean, there's so many no-code, so many things off the shelf that you can use for, I think, $200 than spending $9-10 on building it and spending your time on it.
Yes, we're currently already using a no-code builder, which is WordPress, and then we're currently running into issues where there is multiple plugins and then tools that we really want to use that can be really efficient, and then like it solves a lot of trouble. And we really want to use this budget to purchase these plugins and extensions.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Bubble? No. Bubble.io?
Yes.
I mean, there's multiple ones. I mean, it's actually built for marketplaces. I've seen really good marketplaces built in Bubble for literally like just a couple $100.
We also wanted to like not just work on web development, but also like bridge into like mobile app development, sort of like bridging the gap between the two, which sort of like brought up the costs that or like the amount we're requesting for. So by March 2023, we aim to, start a new like mobile app, which is more accessible for all. So
Got it. I mean, all I'd say, there's solutions out there. I mean, just to press it again, I mean, you don't have to spend time to do it, but I understand.
I'm just gonna say one last thing here because I love food in general. Like I love that whole space. I think your biggest problem in the world to solve anything food related is distribution and value. That's also why it's almost impossible to sell food online. And so like anything that you're doing, back to Ajay's point of like doing anything, focusing on anything other than distribution and value is a complete waste of time. And I would really, really think through that. I think this is a really meaty, like cerebral problem to think through. And it's just like an exciting thought, like exercise to go through.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you very much, judges. Wilford, thank you very much. And next team, please get ready and join the backstage. Thank you for the questions, judges. The judges are treating our students like they were real people racing for money. So again, that's one of the key differences between Leangap and other programs, that we're doing the real thing. All the things that you are witnessing happened in real life. They say that they have customers. It's not a simulation, and so that's what makes this really powerful. All right, so whenever you're ready, Terra.
My name is Luella.
My name is Sanved.
And my name is Ramon.
And this is Terra Groceries. Meet Layla. Layla always hears stories about environmental disasters like global warming caused by big corporations. She wants to boycott companies destroying the earth because she worries about her child growing up in a world without access to clean air, human rights, or nature. But as a busy woman, Layla doesn't have time to research the companies behind every grocery product she buys. So how can she realistically avoid these companies? Like Layla, 86% of consumers who want to shop ethically don't have the resources or time to do so. And it's all rooted at the same problem. Currently, there is no efficient way of tracking business practices. This leads to unintentional support for unethical companies, consequently promoting the continuation of detrimental business practices. People don't want to support environmental or social injustices. They just don't have a reliable way to avoid these companies. So here's where Terra's solution comes in. We provide instant access to company ethics. It's as quick as a scan. Our data is unbiased and accurate as we put every product through the same screening process. And our app offers a large database of food products. It's likely that your grocery list is already stored in our database. So here are Terra's components. When you want to get information on a grocery products company, you simply scan the UPC code and receive an instant background check on the company's business practices. In case you don't want to scan a product, we also offer the search feature where you can look up the product you're curious about.
Terra beats its competitors because it is trustworthy, time efficient, and user-friendly. Similar apps often allow the public to provide ratings for their products, which isn't always reliable. Navigating through their pages is also difficult, whereas Terra provides accurate information with simply a scan. Terra's total addressable market is the global grocery market, consisting of $11.3 trillion. Our serviceable addressable market is $811 billion, narrowed down to the US grocery industry market. Finally, Terra's serviceable obtainable market is $295 million, 0.1% of a few popular US grocery stores, which we plan to target: Whole Foods, Walmart, and Safeway. We reach users through various media platforms because it is easy to pinpoint large groups of our target markets. For example, we reached out to social groups of mothers through WhatsApp and Facebook. Environmentalism and social justice are also popular topics in Gen Z pop culture. So we use TikTok and Reddit to target these young adults. Using these methods of outreach, in just 4 days, we have gained 128 users waitlisted for beta testing. These will be the first users to download our app on TestFlight and will be able to provide us with feedback on their experience. Terra has both a free and a premium version. The free version will use advertisements as a source of revenue, but a one-time payment of $3.99 will remove it. During beta testing, all users will have access to premium benefits as an incentive to download the app.
So here's our current timeline for our product release. The beta version of our application will be released on TestFlight by the end of August. We aim to have at least 500 users and 5,000 items in our database before we publish it to the App Store. If a user scans an item that is not within our database, it will be immediately added for users to view within the next few days. This will allow us to have at least 10,000 users and 40,000 items in our database by the end of April. So why us? Our team is not only passionate about creating environmental change, but each of us also brings our own talents, which are necessary to make our project a reality. So to grow Terra, we need $95,000 in funding for a few key reasons. First, we need to allocate $25,000 to further developing our app and transitioning to a different platform. We need $20,000 to market to an optimal amount of users. We will also need $50,000 for employee salaries and operations. So judges, let's empower people to shop today for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So now we are open to judges' questions.
When you were doing your oh, wait, sorry. Do I have to raise my hand?
No, it's okay.
Okay. When you were doing your market research, I'm always just been curious. I mean, Gen Z, for example, says, well, first of all, who's your target? Oh, you said your target demographic. Okay. Well, maybe not Gen Z then, but I guess like specifically Gen Z more than any other population, even though that's not technically your demographic, says that they're very environmentally conscious, value conscious, like, you know, they're into all that kind of stuff. But I'm always like curious as to like, does that really motivate action? Really? Like, or is it really actually value? And I feel like, again, for food in particular, I mean, if it's not monetary value, I can only imagine that the other most pressing thing to solve is health, like nutrition. And then the third one would probably possibly be convenience. And maybe those three are kind of neck and neck. But like, in terms of this appeal to be conscious consumers, you know, how big of a problem really is that? Is that like a painkiller or is that a vitamin? And yeah, how do you really think of that?
I mean, for me, and I think many people know that big corporations are responsible for, I think 100 big corporations are responsible for about 70% of global emissions. As young people, I do feel that our generation is especially worried about like what our future is going to look like and what the generations under us, like what their future is going to look like. And even if we aren't yet focusing on nutrition, it's all tied into health because if we don't have access to clean air, that's going to be an issue for our health in the long run. So I do think there is a personal motivation to use this app.
And I'm just wondering, I guess, as a follow-up, and maybe this is just an existential like conversation you have with yourself as a team, that totally agreed. We all want to live for 100 years and we want the earth to live. But like, I guess what I was trying to say is that, is this a true motivator for somebody to download this app and keep this app and for this to be their default purchasing kind of like this is the one that they go to buy their stuff or do their stuff because that's the only way you're really going to make money and survive. And is this also like a feature, not a, what do you call it? Like, is it a feature or is it the core thing of your product, right? Like Instagram just integrated Be Real, for example, right? Like, is it like really kind of think through that? Like, so maybe this is woven through your backbone, but maybe it's not like the thing that drives people to download, or maybe it is. And I don't really know.
So I think that it definitely could be integrated into other shopping websites at a point, but right now it's on its own. We noticed that other barcode scanning apps are incredibly popular. We have a similar, there's a similar app on the market that's not really a competitor because it focuses on cosmetics for the same things about like the chemicals in it. Is it environmentally friendly? And it's a pretty popular app. So it does seem like this is resonating with consumers.
And additionally, this idea has been validated. We've been able to validate it through many surveys that we posted, and we also believe that even though it may not contain a nutrition component, through our validation, we have seen that even the environmental friendly aspect of it and the ethicality ratings itself can also provide can also bring a lot of motive to the consumers. And we're always looking forward through additional like time. When we're releasing our app, we're always looking forward to maybe adding those extra features to give incentives for people to be interested in our app, such as like nutrition and etc. We're still exploring that area.
It's great.
I have a question related to the market. I guess it's really more of a point of view, but I'm curious what you think about it, because you brought up your example in your storytelling around a situation, low time, not a lot of resources. In my experience with high quality food for both health and social awareness, they tend to be more expensive, and it takes a lot of time to figure out which ones are the most authentic in a way. And so I look at your target market and I question, will that out of time, low resource person be able to engage with the products they want to? And so could you tell me a little bit about some of the other segments that you might be considering, if any, in the market?
Yeah, so we'll be also looking at adding nutritional components, but we really want it to not be black and white, that a company doesn't engage in anything, they're perfect. Obviously, products that are sourced perfectly are going to be the cheapest products, but it's kind of just allows consumers to make their own decisions. Maybe one cracker brand has less like business malpractices than another, so they can make that decision. And yeah, we're not, I mean, there's no perfect way of shopping really, but if we can help consumers just know what they're buying, I think that's our goal.
Thank you. Yeah, I recommend maybe talking to some more, I would call them, for lack of a better phrase, more wealthy individuals who have more time to look at food. Mm-hmm. I by no means am wealthy at all, but I'm very finicky about my food, and I will pay extra for it being more healthy and being more organically sourced. And to me, that just didn't fit your target story at the beginning. Yeah. But thank you for the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was about to ask a question actually. So that was a great question that Albert asked. So mine would be, it's like same thing as Kay was mentioning, right? Do you become the data layer, or do you become, because even if I think about it, like I would download the app, and some stores actually in California, actually in Whole Foods where I live, in West Hollywood, Wi-Fi doesn't work. Like my actually connection doesn't work. So I have to now, I mean, it's like, I know, weird really thing to even say it, but I would have to now get on Wi-Fi. And for some reason, if I have a call or whatnot, so I am in a store there, the network is really weak. Actually, I'm downloading an app now. I open up a scanner, I scan each and every product, and I want to really buy this one thing, and I'm like scanning it. Oh, it's not. I don't know what this. Like, I think you only have a couple of chances with a consumer, right? One or two, maybe max, and you can screw it. Download the app is heavy, or the connection doesn't work. Oh my god, I really wanted the product now. And just screw it. I'm gonna buy whatever. So why not maybe work with, like stores? Imagine if you have, I don't know what the solution is, right? The labels, or you power like Instacart, stuff like maybe smaller stores that don't have access to technology, right? And then they can educate their consumers, or you build your own app and do that kind of stuff. So why do you choose between one or the other? Like, why not the other side?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an option we're thinking about. We're based in the same area, so I think we know that there's a lot of health conscious people and health conscious stores, and definitely some people we could work with. Unfortunately, yeah, there are a lot of moving pieces in the world that we can't always control. I think the best thing we can do is just work on making our app as user friendly and fast as possible. And yeah, that would definitely be a good option to kind of build a relationship with grocery stores. And
yeah, and I'd also like to add that that's definitely a plan that we have moving forward, to try and like get in contact with some local grocery stores and try and build like some sort of partnership or a way which they can utilize our app to help out the public as well. Like me personally, I also work at a grocery store, so I've already started out reaching out to like some of the managers and supervisors, which I might be able to talk to, and then hopefully get something going in the near future.
Great. Any other questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Terra. All right. Next team, please.
Hi, I'm Mahi.
I'm Nancy.
And we are Abroadable. Meet Jane. Jane is an international student moving from Shanghai to New York. It's her first time moving away from home, and as of right now, her dorm is a giant gray mess. So she starts unpacking, but she realizes that all the electrical appliances that she packed don't match the voltage here. So Jane surfs the internet, but she finds that there's no marketplace that specifically targets international students. All the current marketplaces are extremely time-consuming, very expensive, and have really tedious search processes.
After hours of tedious research, Jane finally found Abroadable. It turns out that Abroadable is the perfect solution for this problem because it is curated for international students' need. Everything Jane needs is right here. The website is super easy to navigate and it provides quick and affordable transactions, which saves your money and saves your time. To be continued, how does Abroadable help? Abroadable not only provides the necessities to buyers, but also helps students like Jane to become a vendor within a few clicks. The platform helps you to find a second home for all of your unwanted products, and your waste actually turns out to be someone else's resources, which is incredible. Overall, we combine these sellers and buyers' experiences into one seamless interface. Now, let's meet Abroadable through this simple demo video. In this video, we basically walk through the steps of one person logging in as a customer, looking through the catalog, pick a product. This is the product description page, and it directs you to the checkout page when you click Buy Now. On the right-hand side, we can see that there are various payment methods, meaning that Abroadable supports many different payment methods, which is incredibly convenient and helpful for international students.
So how do we earn money? We take a 10% commission per product sold, paired with an advertisement fee and a featured product fee that makes sure that your product is at the top of the page. Within just 3 days, we have sold 30 plus products with 50 plus product listings and over $500 in total revenue. Here, we're comparing Abroadable to our two biggest competitors, eBay and Craigslist. As you know, Craigslist and eBay are not the most reliable and convenient platforms. But Abroadable combines all of these factors: reliability, accessibility, and convenience in its targeted marketplace towards just international students.
Now, let's take a look at our market size. Currently, the online marketplace is worth $145 billion US, and the online secondhand marketplace is worth $77.5 billion US. And the piece of this market that we can successfully acquire is the $56 million US serviceable obtainable market. This shows that we have great room for growth and success in this industry. Here's our plan to grow Abroadable. Currently, in August of 2022, we have launched our website with 25 sellers and 50 users. By November of 2022, we hope to obtain more users and more sellers. When we get to February 2023, we want to launch our app to help accessing the platform more convenient. By May of 2023, we hope to provide a premium plan for our app to help featuring more vendors' products. So you might be wondering, why is our team the right team to launch Abroadable? Our team is the perfect team to launch Abroadable because we are actually a team composed of 4 international students, which means that we have all been through the exact same process that Jane and many other international students have been through. Therefore, we really understand the need for a platform like Abroadable.
So what are we asking for today? We're asking for $15,000, $17,000 of which will go into marketing and advertisements, $27,500 of which will go into operations and our team, and $5,500 of which will go into app development and website upkeep to make sure that Abroadable is running smoothly. Currently, there's no marketplace for international students, but Abroadable's efficient and target marketplace helps solve that, and our traction only shows the great room for growth that we have.
Abroadable's trustworthy marketplace helps new movers smoothly navigate buying and selling secondhand essentials to assist you in settling wherever you land.
So judges, come join us in aiding international students build a home away from home. Thank you, and go Abroadable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abroadable. Now we have judges' questions.
I have a question. So, I was an international student, so definitely see it, as a problem. But what happens when you're not a student, right? What does the cycle look like? Like 4 years, I guess, maybe max 6, and then what?
So for our selling side, say you're a student that's moving back like to their hometown or moving away and you're done with college. That's where kind of the selling side comes in. So you can list the products that you have up on the site and have them put up for sale. But the selling can also be done by like any regular person that has things that they want to like sell.
But I'm done at that point, right? I mean, the thing you said, right? I mean, Craigslist and eBay, right? I mean, I can sell from college to, I don't know, forever, I guess, whatever I have. But I'm done with your site when I'm not a student anymore, right? I got a job and whatever I've had, I sold to every student I know. I'm done with it now. So I guess there's no more transaction revenue or whatever happening for that specific user, right?
Yes. So it's specifically targeted towards the international students. Yes.
Got it.
Sort of a follow-up to that. The one piece that I'm curious about is really around the challenge with current marketplaces. My assumption is it the language that the marketplace is set up in? Because what I almost heard is that you're building a better version of eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and that's some steep competition saying you can build a better version of that. So like, what's preventing me being an international student from buying a new charger for my phone on a Facebook Marketplace than your marketplace?
Okay, I can take this question. So basically our marketplace is specifically targeted towards international students. So like say you want to buy, like you said, a phone charger. If you're looking on eBay, you have to look through millions and millions of listings that are like maybe like not as specific, but on our marketplace, it's specifically for like the things that you would need. So like a better idea would be kind of like textbooks, college textbooks that someone that's done with college puts some up for sale. Then college students can easily go and buy college textbooks for like a fraction of the price. And this also goes for the same with like furniture and just like dorm essentials and like college essentials.
Yeah, so it's more
Thanks.
affordable and also it's more targeted, so it's easy to find products.
I had a question about because in the use cases that are being described, I see these as applicable for all students. And I'm curious, like I understand that international students will probably be shopping more, but why limit yourself to international students when it sounds like many students, I mean, even in-state students are going away from home for the first time and maybe getting their own place and whatnot. So yeah, just why being I worry that you're limiting yourself too much. I usually really, really like niche markets a lot, but I'm just not really seeing exactly why this needs to be that narrowed down.
I can take the question. I think there's definitely, we looked at a lot of statistics and the international community, like international student community is kind of just growing and growing over time. And I think with the site, it's also a lot of it is like about, for example, if someone's moving back to China and they like maybe want to sell it to someone who's moving from China and it's at home or something, then it's easy for them to kind of like sell it in their home country, or when they're there, it's easy also to build like a community around international students because you kind of know who you're selling to and you know who you're buying from. So it kind of builds like a community too, I think is the general idea.
I have a comment, I guess, more than a question. But back to what Danielle was saying, I think niche markets are really great too, but you have to really know if you're solving a problem that's there. And just food for thought. When I am 29 now, very far from being in college, but when I was in college, instead of taking my final exams, I would go and dig through the international kids' dump of stuff that they had to leave in their, in the trash, and it was always like amazing things. That's where you would get the electronics, the super expensive everything, and the reason was because like they just couldn't. They had a ticking time clock, unlike anybody else. They just like one, just couldn't take it with them. Two, like actually are not oriented around the storage places that are around campus. Three, like just don't speak the language, and so it's culturally hard, right? And so I would take that stuff and actually go and sell it and I would make like a ton of money at the end of every semester, specifically on the international kids stuff. And it was better than everybody else's stuff. So I think like there are problems here, and there's certainly opportunities for niche markets for international students. I don't know that you're finding the real problem that they're experiencing the way, for example, I found out through a way of leveraging their trash and selling it. So like I would just kind of think about that.
If I might add on to that, Kaya, because I think it's super interesting. I was helping a international remittance company with some market research, talking to people who were in this exact situation, moving to a new country for school or for work. And in terms of the problems that Kaya brought up, there are some really severe challenges there. How do I get an address, get a bank account, like meet people to answer, like how do I get food? What do I order at the grocery store? So when you kind of came in with your problem of like, it's really hard being an international student in a new country, a new place, there are really big challenges there that I think could be some interesting pivots along the way of could you be more of a guide than just a product delivery type service for them.
Yeah, and in that vein, I would choose the most difficult problem that's easiest to solve as your wedge, and then do other things. Because you're right, there's like so much stuff that you could solve there.
Just one last comment, building up on that, actually, what Robin and Kaya said. I think when I was a student, same thing. I think food, is the biggest challenge. I think food and language, because when you just leave your home and go to a new country, you just want to have your own food. It takes a while to integrate and start to do whatever country you're living in, right? That food, I think I'm finding, because when I was in different places in Pennsylvania, as an example, there's not a lot of Indian kids in Pennsylvania, by the way, in Erie. And so they had to drive like an hour or two. And I would go with a couple of kids and they would drive for like an hour or two and then buy those like frozen food, actually bring it back. And they would take orders for other kids, who couldn't drive or have a car or whatnot, right? So like, it's not easy. I mean, yes, New York and big cities are easier, right? But I think there's problems that definitely are there that can be solved, information or some other means.
One more comment off the back of that. Sorry. There's also something that I'm just like seeing commonality here on all the pitches. I'm not seeing like the why now situation and why this solution has evolved today and it should be like this today versus before. So just like to plant the seed for you guys, there's a really interesting YC company. I don't know what the deal is now, but I mean, I think a year or two ago when I saw it first, I thought it was really fascinating because what they did was on the food thing. They created this marketplace where like any ordinary person in a kitchen can actually cook and sell their food. And the reason they were able to do that now and not before was because there were laws that were actually starting to unlock state by state. And they leveraged that timing, they leveraged that whole problem, and they found the right solution at the right time with the right people. And so like those are that you have to think through the elements of like all of these dimensions, not just like the one, okay, let me create the Airbnb of X. That's not the way you think through these things.
Yeah, it's called Chef. Check it out. SHEF.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for the comments and feedbacks. Yeah, we'll definitely we're planning to expand our model. And yeah, I definitely understand the food problem. I think it's something we can add on to our marketplace and yeah, to solve that problem.
Great.
I just before you leave, just one last piece of advice. When I used to pitch and raise money, and when people used to give me feedback, even like this one, you don't have to do food. And you can see the best thing that I used to do, I would say, hey, you know what? I learned through the hard mistakes that, hey, great points, I'll think about it. You don't have to add food just because someone is saying that you should add food. Just you can push back and say, hey, thank you, that was great. Don't just say it yes, because you might go into actual investor meetings, raising capital, and they'll say, oh, actually, I like this idea. When I was a kid, blah, 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 I was doing, oh, yeah, I think we can add that. And then someone else says, hey, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, we can add that too. You're not building for them. You're building for your own beliefs and your own, system, whatever you have.
Yes. Thank you. We'll look into that. We'll think about it. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Abroadable and judges. Next team.
Hello, judges. My name is Preeti Raya Prolu.
And I'm Tegan Ewan.
And today we're here to present Shuttr, the next big social media platform for casually posting vlogs. 4.62 billion. That's the number of current social media users that there are. But how many of these users are really happy with the current platforms that they're using? Now, let's put a face to this statistic.
Meet 13-year-old me. Growing up, my experience with social media was negative, to say the least. I found myself constantly checking my feed for my like count, and I always felt anxious on which interesting post that I needed to put out next.
And that brings us to social media's problem. Social media is extremely fake since posting your raw everyday self isn't normalized. People often have a lot of post anxiety since they're constantly worrying about the numbers. In addition, platforms such as Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok are often too formal.
And that's where Shuttr comes in. Shuttr changes the game by offering a casual platform for users to vlog and video journal their daily lives to their friends and their family, the good and the bad. Shuttr has no numbers, so posting is comfortable for everyone. As our demo, we've created a bare bones app mockup that explains the functionality of our app without full design proficiency. As you can see, users are able to sign up, log in, create an account, and from there they can create their profile. This entails adding a bio with maybe a few fun facts and a profile picture. As soon as they do that, they have the option to upload their first vlog. They can do this by creating a thumbnail, a video, and adding a caption. Once they post, their video is on the For You page of all their friends, and they're allowed to watch the vlogs of their friends as well.
Now, compared to our competitors, Shuttr isn't number-based. We encourage our users to post their everyday lives and even the boring parts, whereas other apps such as Instagram and YouTube are often too formal and are just one big highlight reel. Now, under only 5 days, we achieved over 130 beta waitlisters. These people clicked the download now button on our landing page, showcasing that they were really interested in downloading Shuttr. In terms of our business model, we decided to have an advertising-based revenue model. This way, our app would be completely free for our users to get, and the cost per impression is 1 cent.
So let's take a look at our market. Well, the total global social media market size is worth $223 billion. The social media market size for just teenagers is worth $31.8 million. Our serviceable obtainable market in just the areas which we're based in California and Massachusetts is worth $350 million. So how are we going to really obtain this market? Well, in fall of 2022, we plan to add complex features such as a calendar feature, drafts, and user-friendly filming. We also plan to make Shuttr downloadable to the public. By spring of 2023, we plan to showcase ads on our app and begin influencer marketing. By fall of 2023, our goal is to expand outside of North America. So why us specifically? Well, we are a group made up of avid social media users. Our experience ranges from web design to tech, and these skills, plus our passion for our mission statement, cultivates the perfect team to build an app like Shuttr. In order to really bring Shuttr to life, we'll need $84,000, which will go to operations, app development, app maintenance, and marketing over a 12-month period.
Now, Tegan's story is just one out of the billions of people who struggle to post on social media. But with Shuttr, it is a one-of-a-kind platform with no pressure to create that perfect post. And it provides a comfortable and casual platform where you can really post your real life. Now, judges, we invite you to help us make social media social again. Thank you, and we're now open for any questions.
Thanks for presenting. I had a question about just the interaction between users. What does that look like since it's not like numbers, like likes driven? So what would it be like to post something and be able to have that personal touch with your friends?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really want to capitalize on the comment section. And so the users who post will still have those internal reactions. So they can get reactions to have that instant gratification aspect. It just won't be publicized to the public of the number of comments or likes that they get. So we really want to emphasize that to really have that social aspect to our app.
Yeah, Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna add on really quickly, just in terms of like the friends and the following, we follow like a similar I guess like way as like Be Real does, where you can add friends and add mutuals, but there just won't be any numbers or influencers or anything like that.
Got it. And what you're saying is they can't see other people's comments and stuff. So me, if I post, I'm the only person who can see the engagement. So no flame wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Thanks.
I think on the back of that, Danielle, like you actually, I love that question because I was just trying to sit here and think through that exact same thing. Like, okay, yeah, that. And I think your answer to that of the comments is actually great. So I think now you're kind of getting into the nuances of what your unique value proposition is, which means that you can actually design your product around that. Super important. Like you kind of just copied Instagram. You're like, oh, but it's nobody can see my comments. Actually, no. Like what you need to do then is if you have to optimize for that unique, like if the hit and the dopamine is coming from the comments, then you got to induce that. That's your number one metric. Like how many comments are you driving and how are you driving that? Like if that's a matter of even like having automated filled in messages for people to just send the comments to so they don't have to write it, like what is it? But if that's your number one metric is the comments, then design for that, for 360.
Yeah, definitely.
You mentioned friend connections. How do you find and discover new people? Is that still something that you'll follow kind of similar to some of the other platforms with a discovery?
Yeah, so definitely. I think we're going to follow the same type of strategy where you can look through your contacts and add like suggested friends. And then from there, you can look for mutuals of those friends. So that's still like same social structure is there. But again, our app is more focused on very close networks. So it's not really about meeting new people or like becoming friends with people that you've met once. It's more about you're sharing like your life and like your day with people that are very close to you. So it's more of like you would send them a message somewhere else saying, hey, like add me on Shuttr so that I can like share this with you. It's less of like I want to make new friends on Shuttr.
Do you think you're pulling people off of these other platforms, or is this a completely extra thing where I can have a Twitter account and you're offering at the same time?
I think it's definitely possible to have both, given that a lot of social media platforms are pivoting to video sharing right now. Like you can see that across everything, video sharing is super popular, and creating vlogs and being able to talk about your life is something that a lot of teenagers enjoy and really like to do. And there's a lot of pressure that if you're going to do something like that, you have to put it on YouTube, you have to put it on TikTok. But a lot of that, there's a lot of pressure to be the same quality as influencers, the same quality as people who have been doing this as their career. And so what we're trying to do is create a casual space to do exactly that so that everyday people can also get that same joy of sharing your life with other people without the pressure of like there has to be editing and like there has to be an intro and like I have to have like some metric of subscribers or followers to be like valid in posting that. Yeah, and just to add on to that a little bit, we also really want to target the people who don't have social media right now, and we sent out a validation survey to kind of see what the problem was. And for the people who responded saying that they don't have social media, we saw that a lot of their responses were that they viewed social media as a very toxic space where they feared the judgment from other people. So really having that in mind as a portion of our target market was something we really considered and wanted to bring those people onto our app.
Perfect. Just a kind of a trailing comment that I think this is really interesting. Actually, your responses are making this a bit more intriguing. You might think about the idea of not having friends as a part of it. There's this aspect of anonymity where you can share yourself with people who you normally can't share all of yourself with. That is actually quite intriguing to me, where if my friends see what I'm posting for real on these sites, like I just kind of want to be my holistic self, where it's almost the dark anonymity mode of your true self in the app. Just a kind of a random thought that you triggered for your responses. So thank you.
Yeah, that definitely sounds interesting.
Great. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you very much, Shuttr. Next team.
Hi, my name is Pranav.
And I'm Arya.
And today we will be presenting EC Admit, an online service that makes extracurricular tutoring easy. Our goal at EC Admit is to help students all over improve their skills with affordable and accessible extracurricular coaching. Judges, you've heard some great pitches from great presenters, but let's look at someone who needs to take one more step. Meet Arnie, an inspiring public speaker. In order to improve his public speaking skills, Arnie went online to find tutors to help him out. Unfortunately, the first thing Arnie found was unnecessary forms and questions. When he finally submitted it, he saw prices varying from $60 to $120. This brings us into our first issue, the cost. Most tutoring services cost from $50 to $100 an hour, which is way too expensive for students who simply want to pursue their passions. The second issue is hard to use. Tutoring services have long and tedious forms to fill out, which makes the overall experience unsatisfactory. Thirdly, it's not tailored to what you want. Tutoring sites nowadays are vast and large, which makes certain people have trouble finding what they specifically need. This is where Arnie can take the next step, EC Admit. EC Admit is a service where students can find accomplished high schoolers who are willing to help them in their extracurriculars. We act as a matchmaker where the student has full control. We focus on accessible coaching, which is why we have a very streamlined booking. We also try to make it affordable for a student, which is why we have high school tutors.
We operate on a commission-based model. For every session, we take 15%. We also strive to make everything accessible and easy to navigate. As a student, when you open the website, the first thing you see is the Find an Online Tutor button. Once clicked, a list of high school tutors from all around the world is shown. You can click on their profile to see a more in-depth description of them, as well as their experience to see if they fit your needs. After you find your ideal coach, you can click the Hire Tutor button to move forward, which will navigate you to the coach's Calendly, showing their available time slots. Once you choose a time slot and make your payment, you will then be sent a confirmation and you're ready to start learning.
You can also sign up as a tutor, where you will be directed to a Google form, requesting your details such as what subject you are teaching and your experience there. Once submitted, an interview will be held, and if successful, you will be listed on our website as a tutor.
The amount of people who need tutoring is huge. The recent pandemic skyrocketed the tutoring market to around $8 billion. And within that, the market in the US is $1.5 billion. Out of that $1.5 billion, we are planning to capture $1.5 million in the next year. But why would students choose EC Admit? Compared to our competitors, whose prices on average range from $50 to $100, we provide much cheaper sessions with our rates at an average of $15 to $25 an hour. Furthermore, our site is more flexible and extremely user-friendly, with booking being a quick process compared to them.
And in just 4 days, our accessibility and affordability has led to more than 12 coaches being listed and 3 sessions already booked. However, we know this is just a start. By October, we will bring in college resources and counseling to increase our user base. By January, we will expand and provide more coaching categories. By April, we want to fully automate our website. And from June onwards, all that's left to do is expand and reach greater heights. While we have our future mapped out, why are we the right people for the job? This is because we are our target market. We all participate in extracurriculars, achieve success in competitions, but most importantly, we are high schoolers who want to help others improve.
And in order to expand the reach of EC Admit, we are seeking $25,000, $9,000 of which will be used for advertisements and promotions, $6,000 will be used on further development of our website, $8,000 will be used for operating costs such as employee salaries, and the remaining $2,000 will be used for legal liability insurance.
In the end, we wish to bring affordable and accessible tutoring to kids who need it. So judges, join us and let's make easy extracurricular tutoring a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, EC Admit. Now open to questions.
I just have a thought. I think we get one of these, Sadak, like every year, right? This exact same company every single year for the past 7 years. And so
Yes.
obviously, again, it's like a problem that needs to be solved, but really pressure test as to why the solution that you've presented has not actually been the solution over and over and over and over again. Like it's obviously not this. It's not this marketplace that everyone keeps pitching and over again. Not to like be disheartening, but it's just a challenge to you to be like, okay, how are we really going to solve this problem today for like how the the market has evolved, and why is it that it hasn't been solved yet? Now like literally go to the graveyard and like figure it out before you come up with a solution. But it is problem solved for sure.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there with you actually. I don't know what the problem is. Is it the prices? Is it that it's just expensive?
So
Or is
like
it finding the tutor? Yep.
so we like focus on extracurriculars as a whole. So we try to make it like affordable. Plus, if you go to our site, you can see exactly what you're looking for. Because like other tutoring sites, they're like huge, have like all subjects on there, and we try to make it like more specific towards our like target.
Got it. Yeah, I would definitely go back to the problem again because it's the same thing. Marketplace, you're gonna build it up, both sides, two sides, you're gonna find this, you're gonna find that. Because at the end of the day, those questions, even the questionnaires, I see it like, yes, there's long questions, but then if you ask people, hey, I'm not finding the right tutor, oh, you didn't answer the questions. It's the same. You're gonna either solve it first or you're gonna solve it at the search, right? I mean, there's no other way to solve it. You're gonna go to search page and say, oh, I'm gonna filter by these 15 things, I'm gonna check box now, and then I'm gonna find the right tutor.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that a little bit with a perspective around what is the problem and also the market. When you say tutoring, to me, my mind goes to remedial help. I'm struggling with public speaking, not I'm trying to be a pro speaker kind of in your narrative. And I think when I think of people leveling up extracurriculars, I think there's a lot of, you might look beyond high school. Who's a pro, who's making a career of this, that sort of thing. And so tutoring to me with the challenges of, hey, I'm struggling in X and I need some catered help feels like a separate problem. And that's especially with the age group you're targeting. And then I wonder where the parents come in. Because to me, I think they would play an active role of helping their child get a tutor in a specific space so that they don't fall behind, rather than that individual themselves saying, man, I don't get algebra, I better solve this for myself. I don't think you'll see that step in their behavior. Just my 2 cents.
And any other questions? Great. Thank you very much, Ahmed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, what's going to happen is the judges will go to the backstage. They'll discuss the teams that they saw, what they accomplished, and then we're going to come back with, again, one best pitch, like the overall storytelling, and one most outstanding company. Again, not in comparison to the others, but in what they accomplished in those 4 weeks, the feasibility in the market, the industry, and the MVP that they created, the traction maybe, all of that. So judges, there's a button down below in the Zoom that says backstage. If you can click it, and I will see you in the backstage. We are back from the depths of the entrepreneurship world. Like we mentioned, Leangap is not a competition. We, like, every team supported each other, just like we should in real life, you know? There's a piece of the pie for everyone. The sun comes out for everyone, and everybody can be successful in their own niche, in their own market. And we are a small family that really cares about each other's success. So it's not a competition, but it's also important to tell someone that, you know, you went the extra mile, you know, that extra foot that sets you apart in the 4-week span that you know that you launch your product. So it is important to name that, and that's why we have the most outstanding title and the best pitch title. Now there's a tie. It's very rare to have a tie on either one of them. So right now the pitches thought that 2 teams were great pitchers. Like, the story was amazing, the way that the story flowed throughout the entire duration of the pitch, how they created their slides, you know, it was just something that was outstanding to them, and it's like the emotion stuck in their minds, and that's what a good pitch does. So for best pitch, drum roll, I can't do like sound effects because Zoom is so good at removing background noises that it removes my drum rolls. So just imagine drum rolls, and the best pitch goes to Abroadable and Shuttr. Congratulations, Shuttr and Abroadable, for best pitch. Abroadable's story was so good that even with the technical glitches, they powered through it, and that's something very commendable to do. And Shuttr, for themselves, exposing themselves, like, this is me as a child and all of that, it really ties the emotion. So congratulations to both teams for best pitch. Now, most outstanding company. In the 4 weeks that you had to work in this company, you did something impressive that set you apart from other startups doing similar things in a similar time span. And there's a lot of things that I can say about the companies themselves. I'm going to let the judges do that once I announce the most outstanding company. But just know that it was a combination of also your pitch and your traction and the industry that you're in and what you did in that industry, your MVP, that really stuck with the judges in a very outstanding way and emotional way as well. Most outstanding company goes to, for late summer 2022, this summer, goes to Beat Electric. Congratulations, Beat Electric and team. Now, we're going to hear some words from the judges that hopefully you can take a lot of these words into your teams and your life, because these people have shaped the world as we see it. Just like, I introduced every single one of them. They have shaped the industry that we live in, the tech industry overall. So hear what they have to say, take it into heart, and hopefully it will change your life for the better. So judges, whenever you're ready.
I can kick us off. First off, just amazing job. We all were really excited about the energy, and you guys worked through technical issues and all the pitches. I think traction is something that really stood out to me across all the companies. If I were to leave you with some of my biggest learnings as it relates to pitching and startups in general, and even related to the decks that you had, being your authentic self is the most important thing. I think we saw that with almost all the pitches, which really draws people in. And tied into being authentic when you pitch is make sure you're telling a story that you want to hear and not what you think the investor necessarily wants to hear. And I give that feedback with the specific lens of view on the problem in the market. To be frank, I didn't believe a single market slide that was shown today because it was other people's view on the market of how big certain industries are. To me, that's not it. I would have loved to see where's your view on things and what do you think the size really is? It's going to be made up. It's not going to be real, but I would have believed it a bit more. And when you do that, what that tells me as an investor, as a potential co-founder, or someone who's going to work with you in your company, is that you're not going to kid yourself. You're going to lean into the truth, even if it's the unknown, and be able to try and conquer that. But with that said, really well done, really impressive. And thanks for letting me be a part of it.
I'll go next. Also, really echo the sentiment that Robert was talking about. I commend all of you, applaud all of you. I started my first company when I was 19, and if I was half as eloquent and thoughtful as you guys were, I think I'd be, well, I'm very proud of where I'm at right now. But anyway, I think I'm just very impressed. The one thing I would say is that if I were to go back and think about if there's something I could shake into myself when I was younger, when I was starting my first company, and it kind of, I think, came through in quite a few of my questions, is that it sounds a little bit morose, but now having built companies for 10 years, we've talked about this, Ajay, so many times, that it's actually soul sucking, it's exhausting, it sucks, it's depressing for 99% of the time. And so I think the most important thing you can do is convince yourself truly that this is the thing that you're going to be willing to essentially kind of sell your soul for. And so when you think about that, it's like really do the exercise of like beating your idea to death, like truly, because the default state of all of your companies is dead. And not only is that case, but it's also like the world is conspiring against your company actually. And then you have to work with all of those forces to prove the entire universe wrong. And so I think like this occurred to me only, I want to say 3 years ago with my most recent company. I actually tried every possible way to kill it. And I kept killing it over and over and over again, every single time, like every time for literally 3 years, the first 3 years of my company, all I wanted to do was kill it. To now, the point, it's like, I can screenshot even some of the CS messages that have come through like now. It's like, I botched so many things. We had to shut down for the last 2 weeks and it's still alive and people are still obsessed because there's this buoyancy that once you're like obsessed with killing it, it like is actually impervious to being killed, right? So like think about that and like really try to kill all of your companies. And I think you could basically buckle the knees of your companies all very easily, but you just keep doing it over and over and over again. And it just, it naturally bounces back all of a sudden. And that's the most exciting part after that.
I guess I can go. That was amazing. Same thing. I started my first company when I was 17, actually, and international student. So I kind of there was a lot of resemblance in what they were pitching and great pitches. Pitching is really difficult, by the way. You're very brave to go up there and excited and smiling and answering questions and glitches. I saw some slow-mo in some slides when you're waiting for the next person to, hey, just press the button for the next slide, and you kept your cool and were calm. So definitely an amazing job. I think my learning has been similar to, I think, KI. It's like you're going to spend a decade. I think maybe now it's like companies grow faster, maybe let's say 7 years, right? But 5 years to a decade is a time you're going to give it to a company, So you better spend it well. Either you learn a lot. It doesn't matter if you fail or succeed. But I think work on ideas, they're not nice to have. There's so many nice to have ideas that people work on like cookie cutter and you feel like it just needs to exist, but try to really think from a lens that, hey, is it a nice to have that anyone else can do it? Like add a button. I think of like adding an option to the search button, extension, app, whatever they can add to an existing product that already exists to kill you, to solve your problem, then it's not needed. You shouldn't build it actually. Really build something that you're really passionate about, but it's like needed. And even if the world doesn't believe in it today, don't stop because they would. Every idea that you see successful today was like shut down by someone that it doesn't make sense today, and tomorrow it did make sense. So it would take a while to get there, but definitely work on like need, not like nice to have.
One thing I'll add to jump onto that is, yeah, I agree with what everyone said about passion. And I was talking with one of our founders yesterday, and he's generally a very mild-mannered person. But as soon as he talks about his customers, he gets angry on their behalf. And I love seeing that in him. And I'm always telling him, you need to bring more of this. And so especially, some people are really wonderful and great at being of service to others. And that's where you get a lot of energy. And I would say to power that energy in your pitch when you're talking about, hey, these people are being disserviced in this way, and here's what we're doing about it. It's just a great wellspring of energy to like be of service on behalf of your customers.
Thank you very much, judges. That was some bits of wisdom that I even took to heart, and I hope to introduce them into my life somehow. Thank you very much for being here. I know that you have companies to run, funds to run, other people to attend to in your job, in your life. So I want to thank Danielle, AJ, Kaya, and Robert for being here. And some of them in such a short notice. I really appreciate you coming here, and the students even more. This means the world to our students. Is their first take on what real life is about, what real feedback is about. So you are forever part of their journeys now, and I want to thank you. And I hope you understand how important this was for them. Thank you very much for being here. Now,
wait, can I just say one more thing, Sadak, real quick, because I want you guys to hear. There's one more thing I actually forgot. If there's one thing I can leave you with, because this is like historically what I've done since I was 19 years old. throw Hail Marys. Like, if you can't unblock something, throw a Hail Mary. Think of the craziest thing. And literally on Tuesday, like this past Tuesday, I had to throw a Hail Mary because I was blocked with Google not approving something for 3 months. So I wrote an email to Larry, Sergey, and Sundar, and they actually unblocked it within 24 hours on Tuesday. Like, the accessibility that you guys have is unprecedented. Use it, like truly use it to unblock yourself.
I'll actually add one more thing, because sometimes people ask us when we invest in our deep tech companies, how do we do it? And I say it's really a Hail Mary. Like, there isn't data at that point. It's like, we met the founders, they seem interesting, they have a really big vision they're working on, and yeah, are we willing to throw in a Hail Mary to get them started and see if it turns into something real? And it's worked really well for us. So yeah, don't be afraid to like do the big risky thing.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. That's life. That's what life is. Thank you very much. To kick us off, then I'm gonna just share a little bit on some people that I think that, just like the judges, are instrumental and key to what Leangap is. They are Leangap in their own sense. The mentors that we have, like I mentioned, are mentors that have walked the path. They have been entrepreneurs. They are entrepreneurs. They are technologists. They are people interested in helping other people grow. Several of them stayed up to 3 a.m. working on their pitches, on their traction with their teams, with the students in general. They get invested both emotionally and entrepreneurship wise with the students. They get, just like true leaders do, they get right in the mess with the students. And I can't, on behalf of Leangap, I can't say enough good things about you mentors. Thank you for being there for our students, taking time out of your day to do this, taking time out of your jobs, out of your companies that you run, the tasks that you have to do throughout the day, for working extreme hours. Like, there's no job that can come close to mentoring teenagers that you just met the days before. So you are Leangap. You are what Leangap secret sauce. This is it. This is also, like I mentioned, why we can't unfortunately expand as much, because I love to clone everyone here so that we can have several programs, but it's taking us several years to get to this point, and hopefully all of you stay with us for the foreseeable future. So thank you very much, mentors, for your time, energy, and your love. So summer is over, but summer 2023 is around the corner. I encourage everyone from the audience, if you are interested in Leangap for yourself, for your kids, for the people that you counsel, I really, really encourage everyone to apply as early as you can. You'll get a response faster because we don't have as many applicants this early. And just like you've seen, Leangap really transforms you into a leader where it counts in the real world, not just in the classroom, in a PowerPoint presentation or a business plan that's never gonna see the light of day. We always try to push our students into the real world so that they are forged there, and they forge leadership skills, creativity skills, public speaking skills, and more, just like you saw here. Now, we have posted a lot of what the early and late summer did this year on our Instagram. I encourage you to follow it so that you can see what they did, how they accomplished what they accomplished, funny moments too, because we are a family that has also funny moments, and we post everything on our Leangap. So we on our Leangap Instagram. So we encourage everyone to give us a follow. Now, there's something called Forward Fund, and Forward Fund is something that we came up with to give a grant of up to $5,000 for companies with significant traction and still in operation after 6 months. We want to support you not just in this 4-week journey, but in your overall journey, not just with mentorship, but with resources as well. So if you are still in operation after 6 months and you have significant traction, we still want to support you to go further. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for being part of our community. And this is the 8th year that we've run Leangap, and we have no plans of stopping. There are always teenagers looking to be more, to leave their mark. And as long as we are alive, we'll be there for them. So thank you very much for being part of our small community, and see you next year. Thank you.